Okay. Yes, Vibhuti ji. So a lot is happening in the
Oh my
relations.
goodness. Oh my goodness. It's good that we gave a break for a day. Looks like the earth had began to shake and missing our absence.
I mean, so many things have changed, and the
Right. But
CNN.
one of the most important thing that I wanted to check with you, because you have much more pulse, finger on your pulse. This AstraZeneca thing that had happened, the story is that the stuff that AstraZeneca is storing up is somewhere along the line not approved for US consumption.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Actually, yes. The earlier strain of AstraZeneca was not for the US consumption, and that is exactly being sent to India right now.
Why should India accept it?
India, I have no idea why India should accept it, because it is not the thing which India should accept it generally.
Right. Desperate times, desperate measures. I totally agree with that. But what is also important is, which I noticed, one of my American friends asked me this question: what's happening in your country after controlling this whole thing in the first wave? You were the leading light of the world, and suddenly what happened? I said, there's a very curious coincidence, my dear friend. I told him, Bombay and Delhi, which are leading the rampage on the second wave of COVID, they are run by two nutcases. One is called Kejriwal, other is called Thackeray. And both are opposed to Modi, and they are non-BJP government. And if you were to anyway connect the Greta toolkit, then you realize that these two most prominent cities of India, if they are hit with coronavirus, you have entire India shut down, internationally speaking. You see the point? The Greta toolkit is arriving in Delhi, in India in 2024, and that's very tragic. The other part, before you jump in, I want you, I want to, I'm in the mood to ask you questions, frankly speaking. Is the fact that your friends, Biden and Kamala Harris, what were they thinking? Like in terms of cutting the supply of critical raw material. I first thought that it was some kind of a play by the pharmaceutical companies. They took care of the bureaucrat at the lower level who pulled out some rule from the magic book and began to suspend this. So what is the real story? Because one hand, I also was told that Trump had actually stopped this in the first place, in the initial stages. When the hydrochloroquine and everything began to come from India at that time, he relaxed it or don't know what happened. Confusion galore. From the land of Confucius, confusion galore.
No, if you look at it, so the first number one thing is sure, that the America, what they're sending to India
Mhm.
is actually the, first of all, the drugs which are not being sent to Americans. Number two, the problem is that when you are sending something to India, the components which America is not was not exporting. So the Biden administration was given an inside information or wrong information that we have shortage for USA, and that was the first reaction. But actually USA has 550 million
Right,
doses
right.
saved, and so it is all a conspiracy, and it is in wrong direction.
Today, I got a WhatsApp message from somebody who is not a doctor that if anybody is interested in getting the vaccines, please come in because there is a particular consignment of the whole thing, which is expiring today. So if somebody is willing to come, we will be able to do that. We will be able to give the vaccine first come, first serve basis, not otherwise. Now that's something which is very, very important to bear in mind. Like I got this WhatsApp, I have it here on this. I don't even have to, I can forward it to you. That vaccine is expiring today, and there are 300 of them. If you can come in, you will get the vaccine.
Wow.
What's
Yeah.
going on here?
Look at
And
that.
these are expensive vaccines to be stored at a certain temperature, and they are lying exposed, and not all Americans have got it. This particular virus, seriously speaking, has really exposed our unpreparedness, and I was aghast that Kamala Harris, the vice president, is now going to host a convention. How do we prepare for next virus? Have you heard? Did you hear about that?
Yeah. So in see, there was a religious leaders conference few weeks back. If you have noticed, of Kamala Harris,
Hmm.
she did not take the word Hindu over there.
Right,
Number one.
right.
The second thing which has happened is the Biden administration and the State Department, they all reacted panically after Ajit Doval's call. So because most of the vaccines in the US use a mRNA, which is a genetic component which is manufactured only in India.
Yes, I read about that.
And so I believe the only way which Americans, I mean, I've never seen a diplomatic U-turn like this is colossal. Like, it has never happened before. And when you have a diplomatic U-turn like this, it just shows there was a panic, and there were a lot more things conveyed that you and I know or will ever know. We do not know that. And but
You
we
are
can only
totally right.
guess, that something strong was communicated by the Indian National Security Advisor and to American security national security advisor, which is Jack Sullivan. And in one of my articles way back in some newspaper in India somewhere, I had said that the this administration team doesn't have the experience to deal with a country like India, which is
Right.
large. And also now I feel there is a global conspiracy against Hindus, against India, where it's just a pure religious fight.
Right.
And it's just a pure religious fight, and it has nothing to do with common sense.
Common sense is always most uncommon. That's a given. So I use the different phrase. What I say is, let's give up the common nonsense and adopt uncommon sense. I reversed it. No, you are right about that, because we are now living in a world of such interdependence that you try to screw me here, I'll get you sometime.
Right.
And this is about the raw material thing. It's a pure barter play here. But even more important than that was my thinking. And I think that is what let the Americans try to take panga with India, to use the Mumbai word. They try to take panga with it. The reason is very simple. See, that both these people, Biden and Kamala Harris, they have a gripe against India. The entire Democratic Party has a gripe against Modi, because Modi openly supported Trump, and he also said in Houston, "Ab ki baar phir Trump sarkar," correct? So now that Trump doesn't exist, the Democratic Party is trying to pull its punch with India. Right? You were hobnobbing with Trump, okay, we'll get even with you. Kamala Harris has a grudge against India, and she has never herself called herself as a Hindu. And she was the one who wanted to include Pramila Jayapal, who was the author and writer of India resolutions, anti-India resolutions, in the meeting with Jaishankar. And Jaishankar said, "No, I don't want to talk to her." The meeting was cancelled. Today, Kamala Harris is the vice president. Jaishankar is the external affairs minister. So there will be a clash. And Kamala Harris, Attorney General that she was, must be trying to find a way to settle scores. I find her to be, not so friendly with India. All the pretensions of and I hate to say this. I hate to say this. All the Indians who are supporting Democratic Party, who have supported Democratic Party, today that group is looking really bad in the eyes of a common Indian, because the common Indian has begun to write fearlessly, openly on social media, that I wonder who those NRIs are who voted for Biden and Kamala Harris. What do they have to say? And then somebody has quoted a particular statement by a democratic supporting Indian, saying that, Kya, you expect us to solve your coronavirus problem too? It's there on the website. I can send it to you. It's landed in my
I,
tweet.
I have seen that. I've seen that.
Yeah,
See,
there's a lot of when this particular thing happened. I'm happy to share that with you. That to one of the biggest donors of Biden and Harris, I wrote him an email. I sent him a WhatsApp message that, boss, getting very bad name. This is not something that the Democratic Party, and you as an avid supporter of Biden Harris, be proud of. This is not something to be proud of. Do something if you have real clout. 2, 3 days later, the whole thing has turned, whether he moved or whatever, but sometimes wisdom dawns on some people.
all of
But
us, yeah, the entire
But there is a
community came.
segment, Aditya ji, ये आपको सोचना पड़ेगा इसके बारे में कि there is a segment of anti-India people, anti-Modi people more, I would put it that way, जो पुराने कांग्रेसी हैं. I know a bunch of them here. They revel and enjoy the inconvenience of Modi.
That's what is happening. See, the thing is, the entire ecosystem, they are celebrating the deaths in India, which is very
Yes.
sad.
Very
Very, very sad. It's like I lost two of my closest relatives in last 20 days.
oh,
I
sorry
lost
to
my
hear that.
niece. I lost my niece and her father.
Niece.
Yes.
Wow.
My cousin brother and his daughter, I lost both of them.
Oh my God.
And I am, I played with I played with my cousin all my childhood. And so last 5 days, how I have spent, only I know, because I
Very
can't even
sorry
go
to
to
hear that.
India
Very sorry to hear that.
right now.
How
So
young was she?
she was 26,
Oh, goodness sake.
and her father died together, both of them. And this is like the closest family in India died
In Mumbai?
in Sholapur,
In
Maharashtra.
Sholapur.
Yes. So I am seeing it, but the way CNN is celebrating, if CNN, you guys are watching it, it's not good. I mean, no, don't need to say 500 million people are dying.
Yeah, I know.
No, is
You
that
don't
what
say that. You don't
you
say
don't
that.
say
Check your
that?
numbers.
You're going to create panic. So
Yes.
I'm really appalled by CNN and all of the cronies, and most importantly, I'm really appalled by Bill Gates. And I can tell Bill Gates publicly, I will never buy any Microsoft product ever again.
What did he
And
say?
Bill Gates said you should not send any vaccines to India or anywhere else because they are not patented. And you should charge them for the patent. So without patent, no vaccine should be sent. Then my question to Bill Gates is why America is consuming Indian components in their vaccines. We should also not send it. And I'm not Indian, I'm American. As I'm asking you, where are American ethics gone? So according to me now, it looks like the Democrats are anti-human rights today, and which is a very strong statement to make. But if a Democrats are anti-human rights, then there is no alternative for human rights in the country right now,
Absolutely.
because it's all about religious now. So if you
Aditya, you are totally right that you are looking at a global attack on things Hindu and India. I mean, it is so
Boris
shocking.
Johnson said, Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, one statement he said, even though after that he sent everything to India, but he's made one statement, the pesticides. And I don't know whether he was calling India as pests or anyone else. And my question to Boris Johnson is, what in the hell? It looks like a colonial conspiracy against Hindus, natives of India.
Correct. And that's exactly I know I know Merkel's statement. Merkel's statement said that we let India's pharmaceutical industry grow. I mean, this is going a little too far. both and it's not funny anymore. I mean,
No.
I'm looking at it from this point. Suddenly, I mean, 1991 when I came here, 30 years now. Today, I have never seen Hindus and India being under such severe attack.
Correct.
And it's focused, directed towards Modi, towards Hindus, as if we are the evil,
Yes.
not realizing that they are the ones who could be evil, acting evil. The most peaceful community in the world, the most peaceful people in the world. We are Indians, our Hindus are nowhere in the world a law and order problem, right? Whether crime infestation, law and order problem, causing riots. killing people. Indians are not in that
No,
business.
it also proved that Americans have no conscience, especially the political leadership. I'm
Right.
not talking about the normal Americans. They're great people. I have great friends. But generally, the American political leadership has no conscience, at least the present leadership, we can
Oh
always
yeah.
say. And the other thing which really struck me very hard, that in the US itself, the poverty rate is 30% of
Hmm.
all Americans, according to the American standard of poverty. American standard of poverty is still one meal a day,
Hmm.
and people who cannot afford. Indian standard of poverty is also one meal a day. Now in India, the poverty is 17%, and but because of the big population, 17% is a large number.
Large number, yes.
But in America, being the richest country of the planet, 30% poverty rate, who can afford only one meal a day,
Mm.
which is very high number. And also, I want to bring to the attention of people the COVID statistics.
Mm.
Now, in India, the death rate is 174 per
Yes,
100,000 people.
correct,
In
correct,
USA, the death rate is 2,000 per
correct,
100,000 people.
correct,
So now you make a difference. Now you make a
right,
calculation. Who is worse?
correct.
So do not. At least my advice now, no longer respect for CNN and Fox News both. My advice to them is, first get good analysts and stop working on church dollars. Period.
Oh, they
That's your
will
point.
never stop. They might be, they must use the church dollars to get some better analysts. And if they have none, they should invite people like you and I who can give them reasonable statistics. We are not violent people. We will contest the argument, but we will not cave in because you are CNN or whatever. But I'm here to challenge that part of it.
Vibhuti, did you see a single statement from Vatican, who is supposed to
No,
be the custodian of Catholics?
no,
No,
none,
no statement.
nothing.
They are enjoying,
No, there is
but
a reason for that. And I
but
think I have shared that reason with you and with the audience here before, is because they are now actually afraid of Hinduism and Sanatan Dharma. They are afraid because this is what is going to demolish the fear and ignorance based religious practices that they have. We
no,
don't
but
issue
the West
passport
has.
and visa to heaven and hell, right?
Yeah.
We
No,
don't
I
consign people to heaven and hell.
no
People have their
after
path, they will land in heaven and hell, but we don't issue passports.
no
These
I
people issue passports and visa. So they अब उनको डर लग रहा है साहब कि वो नंगे हो रहे हैं because thanks to coronavirus again, as they say, every disaster is an opportunity. In this particular instance, coronavirus has exposed the religious bigotry of the highest kind. किसी के भगवान ने भी किसी को बचाया नहीं. चाहे आप पूजा करें, आरती
Bhutiji,
में
one more
जाएं.
thing I would like to add here is, today, even though I always supported BLM and I have publicly said it also, that I have always supported Black Lives Matter movement because I identify racism against colored people, and I am
Right,
also a colored person. But today, my faith is further strengthened, that why for more than 150 years of in this country, and at least in the, we can say, in the last uh, 60 years, blacks have not won their rights. And I'm also black in a way because I'm also the same color, dark skinned person. We, I now today sympathize with them, that because we were not white, therefore, Biden and other people had the plan to work on that way, work in this way by stopping. If that was the case, the Biden administration must come out and apologize. Number one, for not, if it was, for example, if it was another white country, and sorry to say that now, if it was Australia, for godforsaken reason, I don't want anyone to suffer, but it was for Australia, then would Biden would have stopped the vaccines or not? My question to
correct,
them.
correct.
Just because Indians, most of the Indians have beautiful skin color like mine, and
Yes,
we are brown or dark skin,
we are
and we are
naturally
proud of that.
tanned. Aditya, we are naturally tanned. We
Yeah.
don't need to go into a tanning machine to get tan. We are
I,
naturally tanned.
I'm
Yes,
proud of my skin color. I'm proud of my
absolutely.
belief,
Absolutely.
and I'm proud of my culture. And being an author, I only speak intelligent talks because I research my talks before I speak.
Absolutely.
And so, with that being in mind, it's really outrageous on this current administration, even though they have taken corrective steps. But my point is, why not in the first place? And
Correct.
why CNN is not being reined in?
Right.
for spreading disinformation, and why the Facebook is not being banned for spreading propaganda, and Twitter also. So
Yes.
if these channels are not banned, what is the hope for anyone else to survive? And I think what Democrats are trying to do, using the Trump, what happened during the Trump's election, they're trying to do against India. We clearly see that. If anyone
You
is
see
watching,
that, and
we see
I'm
that,
not
we hear
happy
it.
to say this. I'm not happy to say this, but while Mr. Trump's campaign was going on, my theory was very simple: that in a very strange way, three of the world's most prominent democracies, I put UK also in it, India, US, and UK, they had leaders of the country who were tilting right of center.
Yes.
Trump, Modi, and this one, Johnson. Johnson had won his election in 2019. He's going to be there till 2024. So is Mr. Modi. Trump was the only vyatye, or the only possibility that if Trump won, the liberal agenda would have gone for a toss.
Right.
They had to do anything and everything to defeat him. And I said this in my programs and in my conversations, that what they will defeat Trump here, and then they will move to India 2024. That is the happiest hunting ground for all kinds of marauders in the world. Right now, India is seeing the invasion of the dead man walking, that kind of a threat. Is 2024 is going to be against Modi, it is going to be against Hindutva. And I said this, I'm on record, that everything that Modi will try to do in the country as a change and transformative measures, it will be branded as a human rights violation because some joker is going to be unhappy. So, and he will be termed, everything that he will do, he say India is returning to Hindutva
Right.
and secular identity. And I keep saying that India must say, sorry, we are Sanatanis. We have already offered, our inbuilt practice is freedom of religion. So we don't have to have it in our constitution as a Western import. You know what I mean? There is
Yes.
a thing like very important for India to now configure, that if a country like Israel, for all its problems and whatever those people are, I'm not going into the merits of that at all. But if Israel can survive surrounded by enemies and 52 countries, no diplomatic relationship, I think India can do that too. Problem is, one, you will not find Israelis fighting. They may have internal battles, but they never go against the country. You have the entire mechanism in Mumbai, Maharashtra, Delhi, and Congress-run states. They are working hand in gloves with China and other agencies to destabilize the country, and that's my frustration. And I think people in India is one of the good things that happened. I believe this is the century for India. India will rise because I've never seen a unity of purpose happening here, and that's why you see here, Santa Clara में ले जा रहे हैं साहब, अभी वो caste वाली बात कर रहे हैं. I mean, I sent a tweet around today. I want to find out only one thing. I sent it to the Indian press guys. I said, is anybody looking at as to who is instigating this? Who is leading this? Because in this country, in this time where there is so many important things lying around, how can Santa Clara and Los Angeles Student Association have time to talk about caste, which is not doing them any harm? You know, caste is not like racism. You look at Champions League football, how the racism thing is playing out. You look at United States, how racism thing is playing out. And you're talking about caste, which doesn't bother you at all. Nobody, and Indians have prospered here thanks to no caste problem. So who is this group that is doing it? And I want to find that out. Because let's have a conversation on that. Is this the most important priority for America right now? In addition to all the evil that is running in the steam here. But hey, our time is up. We will continue this dialogue day after tomorrow because this is an important conversation for us to have because it's very serious and not at all funny. I'll put it that way to you today.
Absolutely. And I did give a big talk on my other channel to speak about the race relations and democracy. Do watch that. I'll send it.
Okay, please do that. Send it to me. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, good night.
Good night.
And thank you, viewers. If at all there is anybody watching or whenever you watch.